DreAllDay.com.
You're now tuned in to the show where you learn the discipline to show up day after day, to do the work, the confidence to put yourself out there boldly and authentically, and the mental toughness to continue showing up, putting yourself out there even when the success you've expected to achieve has yet to be achieved. And on top of all this, get a huge dose of personal initiative, which is the go-getter energy that moves all of us, including yourself, especially yourself actually, to go and make things happen instead of waiting for things to happen. And then we put all this together into one package, one framework, one mindset, one philosophy, one book. We got a bunch of books, but one specific book, and this daily masterclass that is called Work on Your Game. My name is Dre Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day, and welcome to the show. And today we're going to talk the selling equation. Now, before I go further into this, let me first tell everybody that I have a text message line where I want you to text me and tell me the best insight that you gleaned from today's masterclass. Whether it is an idea, whether you have a question, comment, criticism, complaint, whether it's something that just got sparked in your mind, you're going to do different or think differently based on what you heard, or even if it's about something else that you heard me say or put out at a different time. It doesn't have to be specifically from this one. My number is 305-384-6894. Now, once you text me, not only will you be able to engage with me, and also those of you who you may not even have anything specific to say about today's masterclass, you should text me anyway, because once you do, you'll be in my text community once you're confirmed in there, and you'll receive my daily motivation text, which I send out every single morning to everybody in my community. So even if you just want to get the daily motivation text me right now at 305-384-6894. So this topic, the selling equation, I'm going to use a similar format to what I talked about in episode 1103, which was the greatness equation. In the greatness equation, we just talked about your level of natural ability, what some of us call talent, plus your level of willingness to do the work, what some of us may call discipline or effort. And your combination of those two variables, how much you have of each, will determine what is your potential for reaching greatness. Doesn't mean you're guaranteed to reach it, but that determines your potential. And yes, there can be a limit on your potential if you don't have the right amount of these variables. And we're going to use a similar format. So if you listen to episode 1103, that is linked down below in the show notes. You can listen to that one, and you'll notice I'm going to use a similar format here today. There are 4 different formulas, 4 different combinations, and you don't even know what the variables are, but I will tell you as we get into this. Now, being that we're all salespeople, even if you don't have the title of salesperson, even if you're someone who does not like selling, I've known some people who say stuff like that. Well, I don't want to do anything that's sales. I'll take any job. I just don't want a sales job because I don't like selling. Listen, all of us are salespeople. If you have a YouTube channel, you're selling people on subscribing to your channel. If you're on Instagram, you're selling people on liking your pictures. If you are in a relationship, you sold that person on dating you. If you have a job, period, you sold somebody on giving you the job and keeping you at the job. If you're an entrepreneur, you're selling every single day. Even if you're not the salesperson at the company, you're selling whatever your job is. You have to sell somebody on going along with it, or selling people on using whatever aspect of the job that you're putting out there. You are selling every single day, all of us. If you get dressed in the morning, if you brush your hair, you wash your face, if you put makeup on, if you make sure that your clothes are clean and pressed, if you care about how other people may be perceiving you based on your clothing or your car, if you get your car washed, if you clean up your house when you know you have company coming over, all of those things are selling. Every one of those things is selling. Anything that you do to persuade or influence another person's thoughts or actions is selling. So even if you don't have the title, you are a salesperson. So let's get clear today on the combinations that lead to successful selling, even if you're just selling an idea, and the combinations that do not lead to successful selling, or it's somewhere in between the two. So again, we're going to use the 2 variables we're going to use here today. One will be the offering, that is the thing that you are selling, the thing that you want to get to other people. Again, it could be an idea, it could be a product, it could be a service offering. What is the offering, the thing you're giving to other people? And the other aspect of it is marketing, meaning this will be a combination of a few things. First of all, who are the people you're trying to reach? What are their needs, and how are you going to talk about it? So marketing, we're going to put all 3 of those in under that one umbrella. Marketing will be who you're trying to reach, what their needs are, and how you're talking about it. So there are 2 variables, offering and marketing, okay? And those, we're going to talk about combinations of those 2 things, offering and marketing, and how they either lead to successful selling or they hinder your ability to sell. Just these 2 variables. Point number 1. Today's topic again is the selling equation. If you have, here's the first combination, first equation. If you have a crappy offering, meaning whatever you're trying to get out there, your service, your idea, your product is just garbage, and you're combining that with crappy marketing, meaning you don't have the right people that you're targeting, you do not know their needs, and you're not talking about it in a way that would get their attention anyway, then what you're gonna get is crickets and nothingness. You don't know what a cricket is a bug that comes out at night, I guess you could say. You can hear the crickets in certain areas. I don't hear too many crickets here where I live in Miami, but where I'm from in Philadelphia, I will hear some crickets. If you're out, I think crickets hang around where there's a lot of grass. So crickets basically are a bug that you can only hear when it's really quiet. All right, there's nothing else going on. So that's what I mean when I say crickets. It ain't nothing going on. You're not making any selling. This is unsuccessful selling right here if you have this combination. If your offer is garbage and your marketing is garbage, then you will not have anything going on. You will not be in business for long. If you're working at a company, you won't have that job for long because the company's gonna go out of business, so they won't be able to pay you. So you're gonna have to go find you another job. If you work at a company and they have crappy offerings and crappy marketing, you should start looking for jobs right now, because you get on LinkedIn and polish up your resume, because that company is about to go out of business. You cannot have this combination. This will not work. You must be able to bring something to the table to give yourself a puncher's chance. Now, I'm not even gonna take too much time on this one, because what else do we need to say? It's kind of like if you're a boxer or you're in any combat sport and you're not good at defense, which means you can't block or dodge the punches that are coming from your opponent, and at the same time you're not good at throwing punches, or you can't do either one, or then you have no chance. You only have a chance to win. Now, if you're good at half of that, if you're really good at defense but you're not that great of a striker or puncher, then maybe you can win, just technically just outpointing your opponent. You might not be able to knock them out, but at least you can stop them from knocking you out, and maybe you can win if the judges like your style. If you're a really good hitter, you're really good at knocking people out, but you're terrible at defense, now you might get knocked out, but at least you give yourself a chance, because maybe you'll knock them out before they knock you out. Give yourself a shot. But if you're terrible at both, you're not good at defense, which means they're hitting you all day, and you're not good at offense, meaning you can't really hit them, then how do you have a chance to win? Well, trick question. You don't. It's the same thing in selling. If you have a crappy offering and crappy marketing, there's no way you can win. Let's not invest any more time on this point. Point number 2. Today's topic, once again, is the selling equation. If you have a crappy offering but amazing marketing, here's the outcome that you get. You get a whole bunch of angry customers. You're gonna have an audience of people who really do not like you. Why? Because your offering is garbage. But because you were so good at marketing it, you were able to get people to buy into it. You got people to go buy your product or sign up for your service or buy into your idea. But then when they got into the meat and potatoes of it, they got to find out, what was the substance behind your offering, your product, or your idea. They realized that there was very little substance to be had, and now they're kind of pissed off because there's no substance behind it, but now you have their money because you sold them something. All right, you don't want to be in this position either. I talked about how to be a person of substance in episode 1286, how to be a person of substance. And I also talked about the style and substance mix for audience building in episode 1620. You want to make sure, be very, very careful, and it's imperative that you have some substance behind what you're offering anytime that you're selling. I don't care what it is you're selling. If you're offering a service as a coach or a trainer or a mentor or something like that, make sure there's some substance behind what you're offering. If you are offering a tangible product, make sure your tangible product is not a piece of garbage. Or any of you ever bought some garbage off Amazon that turned out to be crap, and you're like, see, this is what I get for trying to go cheap and buying this product that came from some country you don't even know where it came from, and it cost so cheap, and you knew it might have been too good to be true, then you got it, and it really was too good to be true. When you go cheap, this is what ends up happening. All right, you end up buying a crappy offering, but because they're so good at marketing, whoever it was that marketed that idea, that product, that service, you make sure you don't do this. Make sure it's not garbage. Make sure whatever you're doing is not trash. Because if you offer something that's trash and you're terrible at marketing, like we talked about in point number 1, then nobody will ever know about it, and then at least nobody can be mad at you. You'll just be mad at yourself because you ain't got nothing going on. But if you're great at marketing, meaning you know exactly who to sell to, exactly what to say to them, and exactly what their needs are, and you get them to buy, and then they realize that what you sold them is a piece of shit, are they gonna be really, really pissed off at you? You're better off people not knowing you at all than people being pissed off at you, at least in this sense, in this context, when we talk about the selling equation. So if you have crap offering, great marketing, you did a good enough job to get people interested, you even got them to take action, but your delivery does not come close to matching the hype and the excitement and the anticipation you built with your product or service. When you hype up yourself or your work, listen, that's fine. and it can work. And sometimes you should hype up yourself and your work if it's good. Now, here's the second part of it. After you hype yourself up, now you got to live up to it. It's kind of like an athlete who gets drafted into the NFL or the NBA or into Major League Baseball. You did enough in terms of whatever it is that you sold to that team to get you to draft them. You got the New York Yankees to draft you, great. You got drafted by the Minnesota Vikings. You became the number one pick to the Phoenix Suns or the LA Lakers, amazing. They drafted you based on what they believe you will be capable of delivering. The last thing you want to happen at that point, now that they have drafted you and invested in you, your marketing sold them, and your marketing might have been your performance up to this point. Now you got to make sure you live up to the hype. Now you got to live up to the fact that they've invested in you and that everybody's paying attention to you, or at least trying to come close to it. In professional sports, if you're a high draft pick, but then you don't perform anywhere close to expectations, they have a word for that. They call you a bust. And then people make all kinds of jokes and memes and snarky remarks about you because you set this high bar of expectation. It's not 100% your fault because you didn't tell the team to draft you first, and maybe you did, but it's not your decision that they're going to pick you first or whenever they picked you. You set a high bar though, based on your performance, and you took that job offer, you signed that contract, and then you don't deliver, then people are going to be a little bit pissed off at that. And sometimes when people are pissed off, they say angry things. Sometimes they'll say snarky things, but either way, they're not going to forget about the fact that the offering did not come close to matching the marketing. So if you hype yourself up, at least make sure that you are able to live up to the expectation that you are setting. When you have this combination, again, here's what's going to happen. You're going to get a bunch of people who will try you out one time and then they'll never come back. They'll try you out once and they say, okay, I'm not dealing with this individual anymore because they didn't deliver what I thought they were going to deliver. This is how you end up getting what they call churn. Churn is when you get a bunch of people coming in and a bunch of people going out. A bunch of people coming in, a bunch of people going out. So at least it's not crickets. At least you got some activity going on. The problem is whatever activity you get, you're not able to sustain. So it's kind of like having a strainer. You're pouring water into a strainer. There's so many holes in the bottom of the strainer. All the water you pour in is flowing right back out. So you got to keep the water coming in order to keep anything in there and you can't keep the water flowing fast enough to keep it all from straining out. This is what happens when, again, you're good at drawing the attention, but you're not good at actually delivering on that attention. And as they say, once scorned, twice shy. Anybody that you piss off through having great marketing and crappy offerings will never come back, and even worse, they might tell their friends and never even show up in the first place. So eventually, this kind of process eventually might catch up to itself and you won't be able to sustain this. Now, there are some people who keep it going for a while. The problem is it's kind of like running on a treadmill. You're doing all that hard work, but you're not able to advance forward simply because the word keeps getting out about your crappy offering. Now, you can fix this by improving your offering, and now that changes the whole equation. So let's move on to point number 3. Today's topic, once again, is the selling equation. This third equation is when you have a combination of a great offering. Your offering is amazing, your product is great, but your marketing is terrible. Now, here's what happens. And when I say, again, marketing terrible, meaning you're not targeting the right people, and or you do not know what those people's needs are, and or you are not talking about those needs in such a way as to get those people's attention or to draw them to action. This is the third equation. Now, what happens when you have this combination is frustration. Your product's great, so you know that what you're offering is great. You know that it's proven. The people that you have served, you know you have gotten them results, and you know you can get other people results. The problem is you're not doing a good enough job at finding those other people and getting them to understand that you can help them. Therefore, they're not taking action. Therefore, you're sitting there with this great offering, yet you can't give it to anybody. This leads to frustration. Now, one thing that I will say, one good note about this third equation, is you're better off having a great offer with terrible marketing than having a terrible offer with great marketing. Because if you have a terrible offer and great marketing, you're gonna have angry people who are like, yo, you scammed me. You got me to buy something, but what you offered is not even close to what you sold. Now, you're better off having a great offering and terrible marketing and then just fixing your marketing problem. Because a marketing problem can be fixed, I believe, much more easily than an offering problem. All right, you have a great offer, keep that great offer. All right, do not destroy your great offer. Just figure out how you can get the marketing thing done. And I've talked about marketing in several episodes of this show. I'll refer you to specifically episode 1515, topic, you are a marketer. Episode number 1364, rejection marketing, drawing people in by turning other people away. Episode 1897, marketing is a lifetime job. And episode 1835, the 3 marketing traffic strategies and how to use each. And I'll give you one more, episode 1768, how to raise your value in the market. You want your value to go up in the market, there are some strategies that you can use to do that. Now, all those episodes, again, are linked down below in the show notes. So this third equation here is when you know that your stuff is good, your offering is good, you know it's going to help people out, but it's just that people don't know about it. Not enough people know about you. They can't see it, so to speak, even though you can. And you're wondering, why are people not seeing how great I am? Why are people not noticing how great this offer is and how much it can help them? You know it, and a few people know about it, but the majority of people, especially those who need it, who would need it if they knew about it, they don't know about it. You're basically a secret star. All right, you don't want to be a secret star for too long. It's okay to be a secret star for some period of time because at least you know you're good, but you don't want to stay a secret star forever because then you'll die a secret. Nobody's ever going to know that you have the game that you have. The problem with being a secret star is that you do not get paid when you're a secret star. All right, secrets don't get paid. You cannot get attention, or that's probably the reason why you're a secret, because you're not drawing any attention to what you're doing. You can't help people with your offering if they don't know that you exist, because they can't buy it. They would want it if they knew about it, but they can't buy it because they don't know you exist. And then what happens is, the biggest tragedy is that you die with your music inside of you, as we said. You take all that talent, all that potential, and all that skill, all that value that you have to offer, and you take it to the most valuable real estate on earth, which we talked about in episode 468, which is the graveyard. All that skill, all that talent, all that opportunity, all that potential, it dies with you because you weren't able to get it out into the world. This is what happens with this third equation. When your offer is great, your product and service is great, but you do a terrible job of marketing what it is that you do. If your material is amazing, you must be aggressive in letting the world know about what you're offering. All right. There's nothing wrong with being aggressive and letting people know about what you have if you know it's great. When you know it's amazing, you should be aggressive about it, because remember that nobody wakes up in the morning wondering what you're doing and how they can fit into your agenda. Usually, all of us wake up every day thinking about our own agendas and what we're doing. And if your material is not on somebody else's agenda, the only way you can get it on their agenda is you must interrupt their normal schedule. You must interrupt their normal routine. And this is a mindset that slows a lot of people down, especially people who are with the title of salesperson, because they get reluctance in the sales world. Sometimes they call it call reluctance. It's not a reluctance. It's not always about specifically making a phone call, but many times it is that we get all these thoughts and doubts in our mind. Like, man, I remember I was talking to someone who's a personal trainer, and I was saying, well, why don't you just we were talking about marketing, and I was just saying to that person, why don't you just go out and market your stuff, put some banners out there, go talk to people, go call people, and even people who I know who are in the sales world who literally get on the phone and make sales. Why don't you make some cold calls? Why don't you reach out to these people in your community, or these people who you think might be great candidates for the product that you're selling or the offering that you're making? And people would literally tell me, they would give me these objections to reaching out to people and saying, well, I don't want to interrupt people when they're at work. And I said, okay, I'll call them later. So I don't want to interrupt people while they're at home. I said, okay, well, when else are you going to reach them? How else are you going to reach these people? I don't want to cold email somebody who doesn't know me. I don't want to offer my services to someone who wasn't looking for me or they didn't come for me in the first place. I'd rather somebody just come to me instead of me having to go to them. And I say, well, shit, wouldn't we all? Wouldn't we all love if all of the business and all the money that we needed to make every day would just come to us? We didn't have to do any marketing. We didn't have to do any selling. We didn't have to tell anybody about anything. We just sit back and the world just beats a path to our door. Wouldn't that be amazing for all of us? Of course it would. Problem is that it doesn't usually happen that way. And if it is happening for anyone that way, it's because they did a whole lot of outreach before the inbound marketing started happening the way that it did. And anyone who's in sales, if I got that wrong, you can let me know. If your material is great, be aggressive about it. In episode 1408, I talked about aggression versus neediness and going after what you want. Episode 1223, the title is Be Aggressive with an exclamation point. Episode 742, if you're not going to be aggressive, get the hell out of the way. Episode 420, getting aggressive to make shit happen. You must be willing to interrupt people's patterns. In other words, most people, again, are not going through their day thinking about you and waiting for you to reach out to them. Therefore, you must interrupt their normal pattern to tell them about what you have going on. And could it be an inconvenience? Maybe. but they might be happy that you interrupted them because they are tired of what they're doing. They are looking for what you have, but they would never know about it because there's so much clutter out here in the world. They would never know about it unless you specifically went right to them with it. So if your material is great, be aggressive about it. If it's truly great, the people that you interrupt to tell them about it, they will thank you for letting them know about it. They will say, thank you for making sure that I knew about this book because what you're talking about is exactly what I needed. Somebody texted me and said that to me actually specifically today. Let me read this text. I'll tell you exactly what it said. I'm not going to tell you the name of the person who said it. This person said, good morning, Dre. I just received your book and started reading the first few pages. So far, it seems that you wrote it just for me, LOL. Looking forward to reading the rest. Now, I don't even know which book this person was talking about. I texted them back and said, which book are you talking about? So I'm waiting for them to give me a reply. I believe they're talking about either The Mirror of Motivation or The Third Day. Those are the two books that so we're talking about marketing here. Those are two books that I do the heaviest marketing for. So it's probably one of those books that this person is referring to. But the point is, they're thanking me for what I've written so far in that book. And I'm pretty sure, I haven't heard from this person before. I'm pretty sure this person had no idea who I was until I started marketing that book. So I'm just giving you an example there that when you interrupt people and break them off of their normal schedule, first of all, they might be happy because again, how many people do you know are 100% content and happy and excited and engaged with everything they do every single day? Many people are sleepwalking through life right now and they want a distraction. They want a diversion. They want somebody to give them something other than what they have going on. So you have to put yourself in that frame of mind. All right, someone wants me to call them because they need something other than what they got going on right now. They need what I'm offering. All right, they need to read my book. They need to know about my course. They need to know about my training program. They need to know about whatever it is that you're offering. All right, put yourself in that frame of mind that people actually need it. First of all, so it's your duty to get it to them. And secondly, that if you leave them alone and keep doing what they've been doing, they're dying in agony right now because they're not excited about what they have going on. So bring them what you have and they will thank you for it. Okay? Put yourself in that frame of mind and stay in that frame of mind. If it's truly great, people will thank you for doing exactly that. Point number 4. Today's topic, once again, is the selling equation. Number 4, when you have a great offering, this is the ideal here. Great offering and great marketing. Now it's game over in a good way. Your offer is great. You know you're giving people what they need. You know it's amazing. You have proven results and you're great at marketing, meaning you know exactly who you want to reach. You know exactly what their needs are and exactly what to say to them. When you have this combination, you have what I call a hit. We'll just say a hit. I talked about this in my book, Work on Your Game, in the actual chapter that is called Sell Yourself, believe it or not. So if you haven't read my book, Work on Your Game, I will hold it up right here. I got it in front of me. You can get this at workonyourgamebook.com. 250 pages where I went over the entire Work on Your Game philosophy and put a little bit of my own personal journey in there so you can understand why this philosophy came to be what it was by telling you about my own story from playing ball, playing professionally, going into entrepreneurship and all of that. And this thing about a hit, when I talk about a hit in the book, Work on Your Game, I was telling a story from DJ Khaled, who I think everybody knows who he is. I talked about this actually before I even did that I talked about Khaled in episode 1828 recently, but I'm talking about the other type of hit, which is what I talked about in episode 157, way back in 2016. A real hit cannot be stopped. And that's the exact verbiage that I use in my book, Work on Your Game, is that in the music industry, for example, with somebody like DJ Khaled, when you make a hit record, a record that the public just is gonna love, the public will demand that record. Even if your record label doesn't like it, even if the radio DJs don't want to play it, even if whoever is hating on you and doesn't want you to succeed, if you make a record that is good enough, the public will demand it so strongly that nobody can stop you, nobody can block you, nobody can get in your way. That's what I'm talking about when you have a combination of a great offer and great marketing. Nobody can stop you, nobody can block you, nobody can hate on you. Facebook can shut down your ad account. You're still going to do great with it because you have this combination. This results in you making sales, you helping people, you make money, you create change in the people that you want to change, you shift people's thinking and behaviors, and you inspire a whole wave of people who will model what they do after you because they saw your success. When you create success, you're going to see copycats. People are going to follow behind and try to do the same thing that you did because obviously yours worked. Why wouldn't they do the same thing? This is what happens when you have a hit, is that you get You get other people coming behind you doing the exact same thing. You become a leader of people who you might not even know. Look at companies who have a great combination of offer and marketing. Companies like Nike, Apple, Google. They inspire many imitators, or people who want to come close to imitating them. They're pretty hard to imitate, but people who try to at least take bits and pieces from what these people did and try to see how they can use some of that in their own things. These three companies, Nike, Apple, Google, these are companies that have had books written about the people who started them, books written about their business models, books written about the people who have become derivatives of what these individuals did. They all have all of that. They all have all three things in common simply because they have a combination of a great offer and great marketing. Even if you don't buy from these products or use these products, these companies' products, you know exactly what they do. You know, Nike makes athletic gear for athletes and non-athletes, people who want to feel like athletes. Apple does tech stuff, computers, tablets, phones. Google does search. You already know that. Even if you don't use them, you know it. They're good at what they do, and they're good at getting the word out. And these companies are hit companies. These companies are billion-dollar companies simply because of that combination of two things. And it's literally all you need if you want to sell something. So let's recap today's class, which is the selling equation. Being that we are all salespeople, even if you don't have a title, even if you don't like sales, so to speak, you need this equation either way. Number one, if you have a crappy offering and crappy marketing, you get nothingness. You get crickets. You don't know what a cricket is, go somewhere where there's grass and let it become real quiet and listen, you'll hear crickets. All right, that's what happens when there's nothing going on, crickets. You got to bring something to the table to give yourself a chance. So let's not even give too much to this. Make sure you have at least some good offering or some good marketing. Number two, you have a crap offering and great marketing, you get angry customers. These people will be mad because you sold them a dream. You sold them something that sounded great and looked great and everything you were saying sounded right until they actually got to use it and they found out that you sold them some garbage. You're going to have a whole bunch of angry people and you might even create a backlash. You don't want to be in this situation either. You get high churn, once scoring, twice shy, people who buy from you once but never come back. You don't really want this. You eventually going to get the whole world mad at you and then you can't sell anything else. Number three, great offering and crappy marketing, you get frustrated because you know your stuff is good, but nobody else knows about it. Therefore, they're not buying it. They can't see it. You're basically a secret star. The problem with being a secret star is that you don't make money. You don't get any attention. You can't help anybody. And you die with your music still in you. You go to the graveyard with all that value and you just add to the value of the most valuable real estate on earth, which is the graveyard and the cemetery, because so many people die with their music still in them. If your material is great, be aggressive in letting the world know about it. People will actually thank you for interrupting their lives with your stuff if it is actually as good as you say it is. They will be happy that you did it. Put yourself in that frame of mind when it's time for you to sell, that people actually want your interruption because how great your material will be for them. And number four, when you have a combination of a great offering and great marketing, what you get is a hit. And a hit cannot be stopped. Nobody can hate on you. Nobody can block you. Doesn't matter what your parents did. Doesn't matter what neighborhood you come from, what color you are, what gender, what religion, what political party you support. When you have a great offer and great marketing, you will be a hit and the public will demand you. Nobody can stop you from succeeding. And when you do this, you will make sales, you'll help people, you'll make money, you create change, you shift people's thinking and behaviors, and you inspire a wave of people who will model what they do after what you did because everybody will know about your success. I think that's all we need to say. Now, if you're the type of person who's looking for someone who can help you figure out what is my offering going to be? What is my marketing going to be? How am I going to get it out into the world? How am I going to make sure that I'm giving people the highest possible value that I can give them? Then you may be a great candidate for my 3rd day mastermind, which is the only place that I offer direct one-on-one coaching. If you are interested in that, then go to workonyourgameuniversity.com/call, CALL. Fill out a quick form. We will schedule a Zoom call, talk about where you're at, where you want to go, and how I can possibly help you get there. And outside of that, send me a text message. Tell me the best insight you got from today's class. My number, 305-384-6894. Work on your game. Dre all day.